This has been The Last Tango in Paris. Catch you inside.
RevelatorAlf.
Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. I hope you're enjoying the channel and the series. Please subscribe and hit the notifications bell down there somewhere. So, in this video, I'm talking about a very famous Italian director, unfortunately just passed away, Bernardo Bertolucci. Yes, the director of famed films of The Conformist, The Last Emperor, The Last Tango in Paris, you know, all these kinds of films. You know, swept the board with the Oscars, you know, for The Last Emperor. And unfortunately, he's just died in Italy, in Rome, this morning from cancer, long-suffering cancer. Now, what's this got to do with motorcycling and motorcycle art and films? Well, actually everything. Because Bertolucci had an enormous impact on filmmaking throughout his career. You know, if we're talking Francis Ford Coppola, we're talking Steven Spielberg, you know, all the big directors were heavily influenced by his work, you know, back in the day. And his style, yes, lots of controversy, especially with the Last Tango in Paris with Marlon Brando, you know, with that kind of anal sex scene and the butter. Yes, but, you know, that's, you know, by the by, you know, his work, you know, stands for itself and stands alone, you know, and he is the only Italian director to have won an Oscar, which is a feat in itself. However, filmmaking and what we're doing is actually heavily influenced by the filmmakers of the day, of the past. Bertolucci is no exception. His cinematography has been copied so many times. You know, his storytelling perspective has been copied so many times since. One of his early films, which he told from multiple points of view, has been copied lots of times since. So his ability to be able to tell a story and to be able to convey a message is what many people are doing now. They're doing it in YouTube, in vlogs, in storytelling, even in how-to videos. You know, there's lots of elements of filmmaking practices that are being utilized. How to use the camera, how to frame, that kind of thing. So whenever a director passes away, it's kind of, there is a sense of loss, and there's a sense of loss for the filmmaking industry, but it's also a sense of loss for people who are involved in particular activities and they want to use certain elements from another industry that's completely different. If we look at motorcycling and motorcycle filmmaking, then a lot of those elements have been taken from some of these directors of the past, and Bertolucci was no exception. You know, he heavily influenced some of the big motorcycle movies back in the day, back in the 60s and the 70s as well. Cassavetes, you know, famed for the Hells Angels films, you know, back in the day, back in the 60s, also, and obviously other things as well, but you know, he was influenced by a lot of the Italian directors of the day, and also subsequently, you know, in later work as well. So, and he was a great, you know, actor director. If we're talking about, you know, modern day, we're talking Coppola, you know, Steven Spielberg, Martin Scorsese, you know, heavily influenced as well. Yes, the Italian American directors in Coppola and Scorsese, but you know, we're talking about styles and the way there's storytelling, how to piece elements of a story together. If we're looking at some motorcycle movies of the past as well, those elements of movie making are all in there. You know, we're looking at, you know, one of the greatest storytellers of all time, Stephen King, you know, in terms of horror stories. Actually, he had a cameo role in an early motorcycle film called Night Riders, you know, from many years ago. And some of the elements within that film directly taken from, you know, other movie genres of the time. One of those things with directors that they are the unsung hero of the movie making business, in that we know it's the big director and it's their project and it's their baby, but really people just tend to think about the film stars now. They are the ones in the headlights, and the director is the guy pushing behind, you know, behind the scenes, making sure everything goes according to plan, telling the actors what to do, what his vision, or her vision I should say, of the film should be. You know, they live and die by the quality of that film and how that story is translated over to the audiences. Whereas actors can go from job to job to job, if they're successful, of course, and then, you know, so but they get a lot of the praise, but the director is the one who's really putting in the, you know, the work, and it's a 2-year project, let's say, for a director, whereas a film actor can, you know, do a project in a couple of months and then they're off to the next project. So a lot of time and energy is invested in each project for a director, and possibly they don't get the praise or the recognition, after the event that they possibly should get from the general public. Now, obviously, within the movie industry, with the filmmaking industry, of course, they're highly regarded, but amongst us. So this is what this video really is about. Really, it's about not only Bertolucci, who's, you know, sadly passed away, it's also about hailing the movie making process from years ago, but also how it directly influences, or how particular directors influence other genres and other types of filming. Whether we're filming for a YouTube channel, whether you're filming for, you know, a school project or a marketing project, you know, we're using elements of cinematography that have been developed, that have been experimented with, from directors and movie makers of the past, you know, cinematographers of the past. So this is what this video is about. This is a biker's salute, a biker's nod, if you like, to Bernardo Bertolucci and all his accomplishments in the movie making world. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe. Catch you for the next biking video coming out very soon. See you on the next one. Cheers.